can continue, please. Please let me recap. Can you hear me? Everybody can hear me.
Yeah.
So we were talking about the basic principles of resonance transmission systems, some ideas of Tesla and research in radiant energy, and the basics of free energy. And I think it was this slide that we stopped on. I was explaining the working of the 5 kilowatt Tesla coil that we have in the laboratory for various types of experiments in high frequency currents. So we are using the high frequency the high voltage transformer on 15,000 volts. Basically, it's a full transformer turned around. So we use this high voltage in a asynchronous motor that has 3,600 rotations per minute, and we have 6 electrodes rotating on the motor that create the high frequency current discharges in the high voltage capacitor, which is this equipment here. And this is introduced in the primary coil circuit, which is the copper tubing in the helicoidal position here on top of the structure, which induces electromagnetically a current in this other vertical tube, which is 1,200 rolls of fine copper wire with its isolation. And we have an automation system here that we use to control the experiments. So the voltage is elevated on this discharge terminal, which is a metal torus that acts like capacitance in a inductor capacitive oscillating circuit. And thus we have these discharges, the lightning, because of the elevated potential. So going back to the idea of wireless energy transmission, Nikola Tesla as a product did not want the lightning. Lightning is used in devices like bioelectrography. The discharges are used to be introduced into conductive subjects. But here we want really to work on the electromagnetic near field around the high frequency transmitting antenna, or on a one wire line transmitting system that we showed, and we are building one currently in the laboratory to be able to send energy wirelessly to robotics, small robotic devices, and small drones without the use of batteries. So for Tesla and for us, the discharges are loss of energy. We really want to be working on the field, or in the near field, in terms of induction, transmission, or in terms of resonance, resonance waveguide to transmit energy at larger distances. So this is our current space in Sao Paulo. We had in April a large event that we call Tesla Day. So we will be giving these events with lectures and a kind of a fair. At the fair, the inventors can bring their inventions that are related to energy efficiency or free energy devices. So we talked about Tesla's work in Colorado Springs, and we talk how this brought him through the idea of creating a wireless energy world system. In Colorado Springs, Tesla was sitting in his laboratory. It was high up in the mountain, and he liked really to observe the discharges of natural lightning uh, going down on a more distant peak of the mountain. And as he had very rudimentary antennas that were grounded, as first type of Tesla coils constructed, he noticed that when the lightning strikes at the peak, there is some delay in time, and then he receives a type of electrical impulse in his grounded antenna, and he thought that if nature is uh, in nature it is possible by a type of ground conductivity to transmit electrical impulses that are coming from natural lightning, then maybe I'm also able to transmit energy via impulses through the ground at a very specific frequency. So this observation of nature brought Tesla to the understanding of the Earth resonant frequency and all his research in high frequency current in soil and atmospheric conductivity that was supposed to be used in the world, uh, Tesla's wireless world system. So these observations and experiments in Colorado Springs, Tesla brought to the product. The product was the Tesla Tower, and his ultimate plan was for the tower to wirelessly transmit telegraphy, telephony, and electrical power all over the world. We already said that his ideas were basis of the what we have today as internet. So uh, here there is a photo and a 3D render from the University of Niš in Serbia. 3D work based on the papers that were found at the Nikola Tesla Institute in Belgrade, showing the natural dimensions of the tower and the power plant that was supposed to um, feed the tower. We have here three historic photos from the power plant that show the alternator that was supposed to create a high frequency in various complex frequency systems that were supposed to be used in the tower. And this building of the power plant is the only construction that Tesla made that is still in existence in Long Island in the United States. In terms of engineering, it is not uh, it is not exactly as a Tesla coil. You can see here the motor that we use for high frequency discharges in the electrodes. Tesla wanted to use a very large alternator, so the tower was supposed to be fed with a high frequency generator that could have brought what we call today very low frequency spectrum from 10 up to 100 kilohertz of emission. So this is Tesla's patent for the Tesla Tower. It is different from an ordinary Tesla coil. You can see here it has a grounding, which is very important, primary circuit and a secondary circuit, and also an extra coil, which was instrumental in bringing the tower in oscillation to the Earth resonant a frequency for him to be able to observe the extraction of the natural electrical impulses from the Earth. So he called this the magnifying transmitter. So Tesla's patent obviously is for a transmission device. It is not an energy generating device. It's an antenna. But then there is this word amplifying. It is very interesting that he brings this word amplifying. The signal has to be amplified by something. The signal that is emitted also is wrongly thought that mostly goes through the air. Uh, Later, after the destruction of the Tesla Tower, I will not really go more into the history. You can watch History Channel programs about Tesla. I will go more into the specific details. Everybody shows the huge Tesla Tower, 60 meters, but nobody really talks about the secret of the Tesla Tower that goes 60 meters in beneath the tower, which is the grounding system. So 90% of whatever waves are generated were meant to be pulsed on a specific frequency through the Earth, and 10% only through atmospheric discharge of type of corona that were supposed to be used for electrical flying vehicles, for instance. So it was a complex system that was supposed to provide energy at greater distances and energy at a shorter distances, and a complex frequency system also to be able to transmit information. So here you can see the antenna in Colorado Springs and the antenna in Wardenclyffe. So in Colorado Springs, in terms of basic engineering antennas, Tesla had problems grounding. So his assistant always had to water the ground, and he was telling that he really needs to get a grip on the grounding. So in terms of engineering problems, he thought to resolve this problem if he locates his huge transmitter in a region that is near the ocean, where there is aquifer in the ground, so where he can tap into naturally more conductive soil. So this was a type of evolution of the process. So Tesla did have some engineering problems to be able to create the global system. The Tesla Tower worked not obviously in the complete uh, utilization of all the systems that were supposed to be used, but it really was working in 1907 and 1908. There are less documents in the Tesla Museum from this time. He did not really document as much his work as he did in Colorado Springs, uh, as publishing a diary. Uh, some of his work was already being robbed by other people, and he from since then did not really document all too much. And even these documents that are from his writings from the time when the Tesla Tower was functional in 1907 and 1908 are not to be found in the Tesla Museum, together with the 60,000 or more documents that were brought from the United States by Sava Kusanovic. but are found in the underground safe deposit of the National Bank of Serbia, which is a couple of streets from the Tesla Museum. But it is very interesting how the archive of Tesla is treated in this sense. Even I don't have access to this, but I had in the past decade as part of the organization of the Tesla Science Foundation and the Tesla Society, and as a vice president of the Serbian Tesla Society, access to some documents that really showed that the Tesla Tower was functional. It was working. So in 1917, it was destroyed during the First World War, and what we can see now there in New York is parts of the grounding of the system. So the Colorado Springs transmitter was working at a 50 kilowatt, so 50,000 watts of power, and the Tesla Wardenclyffe Tower used 250 kilowatt power of transmission. So we have a in our we have a basic science project to reproduce the Earth resonance experiments in constructing a 50 kilowatt amplifying transmitter, which is, as we said, different from a ordinary Tesla coil, that it has an extra oscillating coil connected in terms of galvanic connection to the secondary coil. Primary coil induces and elevates the current in the secondary coil, which is connected to a wire in our design here on an exchanging top, where we can put various types of extra coils that we can adjust the transmitting frequency. And this is the photo of our first tubes of the secondary coil in Brasilia. So we still lack some resources when we have a terrain that has the very specific geophysical properties and soil properties here in Brazil. In terms of conductivity and atmospheric conductivity, we will start process of getting financial resources for the equipment needed to complete the first transmitter. And then this is a 250 kilowatt transmitter that we designed, that is an evolution of the 50 kilowatt device that can be used as a product. And here we can see what we will be talking in more depth tomorrow, what the scientists call the South Atlantic anomaly. This is a geophysical phenomenon that brought me and my work to Brazil. And here are three visualizations of the phenomena. It is natural phenomena that decreases the potential of the Earth's magnetic field in this area, which covers most of Brazil. It is called the South Atlantic anomaly because it was discovered 60 years ago via launch of rockets that had Geiger counters. So it was discovered a larger concentration of radiation in this area of the anomaly. In the past 10 years, because of the movement of the magnetic poles of the Earth, this center of the anomaly has dislocated from the Atlantic towards the continent of Brazil, and now it's currently centralized from São Paulo to Brasilia. Basically, this is a hole in the parts of the Earth's magnetic field that gets more radiation, ionizing radiation, solar radiation, ultraviolet, and even antimatter concentrated in this area. So in this area, the continent is nearer, up to 1,000 kilometers nearer than other parts of the planet to what is the natural Earth's capacitor. It's called the Van Allen belt. So Tesla's idea of the Earth being a natural spherical capacitor here is shown from his own sketches. We can see here a long longitudinal wave from a potential Tesla tower, Tesla amplifying transmitter to a receiver on the opposite pole of the world. So I must repeat, 90% of the waves emitted were supposed to go through the soil, through the earth, and 10% only through atmospheric conductivity. And as the effect of this geophysical property, in Brazil we have heightened atmospheric ionization and higher atmospheric conductivity. Brazil is the second country in the world with the largest number of occurrences of lightning. The first one is, I think, Congo, which is on the other side of the border of the anomaly in Africa. So we are here observing the improvement of the efficiency of the Tesla world system with the geophysical properties here in Brazil, and this is the basic response why I have moved here 6 years ago. Tomorrow, when we treat more of the noosphere paradigm and planetary consciousness and Earth as a whole electromagnetic system, I will talk more about the anomaly and its effects here. We can see the similarities and the differences in between basic patent of Nikola Tesla's magnifying transmitter and our design. So when we talk about Earth resonance, here we must show some original Tesla's handwriting, and again the design of the longitudinal waves permeability through the Earth as a medium, and then the other article to the left, this diagram and the writing that explains what I have told at the beginning of this lecture, that Tesla experimentally showed and measured waves that are faster than the speed of light. Essentially, he thought that they have a neutral nature, that they are non-electromagnetic phenomena. So this here is an unpublished material of the Nikola Tesla Museum by the late academic Marincic, that these documents are not anymore in the museum. So Tesla estimated the interval of Earth resonance to be not less than 1/12 of a second. So in terms of antenna science, this gives us a wave that is about 471,240 kilometers per second, which is 1.5 times more than the speed of light. This is Nikola Tesla. His patent 787412, art of transmitting electrical energy through the natural mediums. very important for us understanding uh, free energy as extraction uh, from the ambiental uh, medium. It is not that we are producing something from nothing. We are just tapping into the medium, and here the medium was the Earth itself. So uh, when we translate this to a frequency, it is exactly here as shown in this slide, 11.7639, and so many more numbers. So 11.76 hertz, and many researchers erroneously thought that Tesla calculated what we call today the Schumann resonance frequency. We talked in the past session of consciousness technologies about the Schumann resonance and how this affects the human brain and the human antenna. But we talked that the Schumann resonance is connected to the resonance cavity of the ionosphere, which has its circumference of 40,000 or more kilometers. So this wavelength of 40,000 and more kilometers translates to the basic harmonic of the Schumann resonance frequency, which is 7.8 hertz. So this is a lower frequency. Tesla here was talking about 11.76 hertz. And if we translate this to a wavelength, we observe that Tesla was tapping into a different resonance cavity. I will now reveal something that is dangerous. And this is really the secret of Tesla. Tesla observed in Colorado Springs when he had an accident where he was experimenting with various frequencies in his transmitting antenna, that there was a discharge from the Earth that happened to destroy the generated at the power company of Colorado Springs. So he documented his observation that he involved in the electrostatic pulse an amount of a certain amount of energy, and that he, when he reached a specific frequency, was observing that more energy was going out of part of the transmitting system, and that this in return came back as a discharge that destroyed the power plant. Later in the weeks, Tesla repaired the power plant of Colorado Springs, but this showed the exact importance of the term amplifying transmitter. So Tesla observed an amplification effect in his resonance circuit, which was essentially tapping the Earth at a specific pulse that is connected to the resonant cavity of the mantle of the Earth core, which is the part where the liquid interior of the Earth gets to solidify, and in turn this observed as what we have calculated. It can show increases of up to 40 times in the power transmitted. So, for instance, we are introducing 250 kilowatts in oscillation that on a longitudinal wave on a Earth resonant frequency goes through the planet, and then on a distant location, we can observe an amplification effect, so we can get uh, megawatts of energy. So this is the secret of the Tesla's amplifying transmitter. Obviously, his idea was to create a network, a matrix of global matrix of transmitting towers. So here there is a design that I obtained from the papers that was not published, that shows that there is an idea of geometry of an Earth energy grid that he was thinking about how to cover the whole Earth in potential, so that every distant part of the planet can have access to energy. This being a transmitting device, it had to be connected to a power generating plant, and we here are in our project wanting to use solar thermal energy as a renewable source to power the transmitting systems that we are to implement in the test field, which is supposed to be done in an isolated area, some 200 kilometers north of the capital of Brazil, at an altitude of 1,300 meters. So some of our partners that have continued to work on research on single wire resonant systems, more efficient resonant transmission systems in Russia have calculated that only 5 of resonant guide transmission systems connected to solar thermal energy sources in amount of powers generated in terawatts can power the whole planet. This is really coming close to Tesla's ideas to use 5 large plants to transmit energy throughout the whole world, and obviously where resonating retransmitters would amplify the signal for the consumers. So these 5 locations that were calculated should be Mexico, Brazil, Libya, China, and Australia. So this result, as Tesla wanted the whole idea of energy transmission. So this is all talk about transmission at greater distances. I will go back to the slides of some of the products that we have in resonance and inductive systems at shorter distances. So this is one very important experiment of Nikola Tesla, where he's demonstrating the practicability of transmission of electrical energy in industrial amounts based on the patents 645-576 and 649-621. It was done on January 23rd, 1898. January 23rd being my anniversary. I'm very fond of this experiment. So it is the extension of the single wire transmission experiment that I mentioned in the beginning of this lecture, but where the single wire is taken out and it was introduced a tube that was connected to the pump to recreate the pressure that can be encountered in the higher atmosphere. So Tesla was able, through coronal glow to transmit potential at a distance, thus recreating what what can be a single wire earth ground return circuit. So this 10% of atmospheric discharge that Tesla needed to connect the system and also transmit energy wirelessly to uh, flying flying vehicles after 1917. Tesla had some non-resolved patents in which he introduces ultraviolet radiation uh, to improve efficiency of the connection to the naturally conductive media in the ionosphere. So tomorrow we will talk more about the Earth's electrical circuit, the Earth's magnetic field, and how this is related to human consciousness as a whole system. So the Tesla's global wireless energy transmission system in its science and in its research and in its engineering is very important for us to understand what the Russian cosmic cosmic cosmicism and cosmology in the past century talked as the paradigm of the noosphere and evolution of mankind. So uh, this is a most recent patent uh, from the one of the our partner research institutions in Moscow. I think it's 2010, some 7 years ago, where you can see at a diagram a type of a Tesla transmission system here at a potential of 50 million volts is connected to a laser guide. So this in turn provides the discharge of high frequency current to the ionosphere, and then at a longer distance it can be retrieved via a receiver. So there are other patents from the same institution that show the ability to wirelessly transmit energy to even to satellites. So this, as a device, I still have not seen, but it goes in line with some of the Tesla's ideas on the improvement of the global system. So this I translated from our Russian partners, and it is about the conclusions of their research in resonant waveguide methods of electrical power transmission. So it really goes on to assure what Tesla wanted to do 100 years ago. Then again, 100 years ago, I don't know. Uh, we tried to explain a little bit of the shadows of mankind, why still we do not have the use of this technology. So air transmission facilities will be substituted by underground waveguide systems. A global solar energy system generating electric power, hydrogen, fuel, and heat for every person on Earth will be created. Liquid fuel will be generated from the biomass of agricultural plantations. Power supply of aircrafts in space and transmission of electrical power to mobile objects on Earth will be made by wireless methods. Electrical machines, robots with active labor bodies will operate at agricultural plantations. Spacecrafts will be launched from Earth using electrical propulsion. They will have a ratio of payload mass to launching mass of 80 to 90% instead of today's 5%, because most part of the weight of the rocket is the solid combustion that provides the impulse to put uh, only 5% of the total weight to orbit. And very important for us in terms of therapy, resonance methods will be used for medical treatment of people, animals, extermination of weeds instead of pesticides in irrigation process, and making drinking water and waste disinfection. Uh, so this is a type of wireless online vehicle system. So there now exists a movement in the world. Even we have a company that is using the name Tesla to sell electrical vehicles. But the problem with electrical vehicles is that they use batteries. So,
Boris,
yes.
sorry for interrupting again.
Can you hear me?
The sound is dropping again.
Is
Sorry.
it better now? Is
Yep.
it better now?
Yeah.
So I will sit tight.
Thank you
So
very much.
the problem with electric vehicles, it is the weight of the batteries and the use of batteries uh, really uh, limits the use of electric vehicles, and obviously they're also based on a type of solid matter that needs to be extracted from the earth. So our problem of our civilization is energy resources, and our energy system is based on non-renewable energy, and this in turn manifests as wars everywhere where we have a material resource in the ground. Now we have wars. We have wars for gas pipelines. We have wars for oil. And the idea of slowly detaching from the oil system, I think mathematically is very problematic. We don't have a solution that can rapidly uh, change and detach our consumption of, of processed oil, not only for transportation but also for chemicals and pharmaceutical industry. And this is all based on our lack of consciousness on energy and matter. So Tesla's principal ideas was really showing that this is not needed. So oil is not needed. We will have now electric cars introduced in the system, but nothing is changed. And we will be using lithium in batteries, and it is just a way of the old capitalist system to, in a shadowy way, translate from ownership of oil to the ownership of lithium, and the largest deposits of lithium in the world have been shown in Afghanistan. We have war in Afghanistan, and it's all kind of hypocrisy again and again. So we could have had this, what Tesla wanted for the world 50 years ago, without the need of batteries, without the need also of using lithium. Now we call this Tesla motor. So this is an online uh, vehicle system of an electrical bus in South Korea. It uses induction at an efficiency of 85% and transmission wirelessly of energy at distance of 30 centimeters. It's an energy transmission line that exists for a couple of years now in a university town in South Korea that extends for I think 15 or 16 kilometers. And these are some diagrams and ideas on online energy for vehicles. This is not a resonance system, so the distance of energy transmission is smaller, but it really resolves the issues of recharging vehicles. The vehicle is permanently recharged via the infrastructure. You do not have to recharge the electrical vehicle for 7 hours. You don't have the limits of, of your freedom to move with this system. I repeat, this is Tesla's ideas 100 years ago. Um, so in terms of transmitting energy at shorter distances, we are developing our own devices here. We have various types of Tesla coils. Obviously, the larger things are high voltage transformers, capacitors, and motors, and smaller devices use electrical uh, circuits. For instance, with this device, we have electrical discharges, but we have a near field of 2 meters where we can introduce receivers. Here we have a small product that does not produce electrical discharges, but has a half of meter of an electrical magnetic field. While introducing an efficient receiver, we can power small devices via 5 volt uh, voltage. So these small energy poles we are already producing. I have another one here on my table that I wanted to show as a small experiment. So uh, this is the smaller wireless energy transmission device. I don't know if the camera is showing. No, the camera has stopped. No, camera has stopped.
Is the picture stuff?
The picture is still. Just a second. Let me see.
You're back.
I'm back. Okay, so this is one of our smaller transmitting devices. We're working on a larger one, like a wireless energy transmission pole. So this device gives us half a meter of the field. The idea here at the laboratory is to use solar energy in various types of using various power transmitting circuits to introduce at a shorter distance resonant transmission systems that can be connected to renewable energy systems and in small let's say steps that we can get to larger things that can power even uh, electrical vehicles or smaller electric flying machines. So this uh, here example is um, of a Tesla invention that is my favorite. It's called the Tesla flying machine. It was presented in 1911 in Tesla's article entitled Tesla's Monarch of Machines in the New York Herald Tribune. So you can observe that this flying machine of Nikola Tesla does not have any wings, does not have any propulsor. Uh, it is what is the basis of electrostatic propulsion, electropropulsion systems. So Tesla said here, the flying machine of the future, my flying machine, will be heavier than air, but it will not be an airplane. It will have no wings. It will be substantial, solid, stable. You cannot have a stable airplane. My flying machine will have neither wings nor propellers. You might see it on the ground and you would never guess that it was a flying machine. Yet it will be able to move through the air in any direction, regardless of weather and of air currents. The lifting power will not depend upon any such delicate devices as the bird has to employ, but on positive mechanical action. So our idea is, you can see here, Tesla's flying machines and a network of Tesla towers in his own design here from the past, and other types of flying vehicles that use electrical propulsion. So our idea is to bring smaller devices, and that we can show here in the laboratory, that we can power small drones via energy without wires, and then using the same resonant line principles that we can apply in tens of meters, that we can apply as Tesla wanted to do in larger urban areas. So his idea went even further than using propellers and electrical motors in flying machines. Even electrical drones need to use batteries, and this will be shown as problematic in terms of limits and the extraction of matter. So Tesla's ideas were really completely different, and based on free energy and not on matter. So this is really talking about aeronautics. Electrical propulsion systems are based on high frequency discharges in air, and this air ionization with the types of vortex technologies in its efficiency can be improved, and even space launch systems uh, can be made via wireless energy transmission. As we have said, uh, the the conclusions about the future are the use of resonant transmission systems, even for space launch systems that go above the atmosphere, therefore are not only based on ionized air and glow discharge in air that gives impulse. That was the basic idea of the Nikola Tesla's flying machine. You can see here on the front and behind what we know are electrodes. So um, electrodes located on the flying vehicle were supposed as plasma discharges to provide impulse. This impulse then in some ways would be made more efficient to provide more velocity, and energy would be transmitted wirelessly. So this is one of Tesla's greatest dream, and this is really uh, 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 an application of 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 what we wanted to create here in the laboratory. And let me give some time for some questions. Here is where we end today's lecture. I'm sorry for the interruptions, but I think that the underlying principles of Tesla's ideas of free energy were shown. I know that there are a lot of other ideas on magnetic motors and this and that, but we really wanted to focus on what Tesla said because it is really the truth, and it hurts me that this truth does not materialize to help the way of life of humans on Earth still. So are there any questions?
Yeah, Boris. How long do you think these technologies will take to be abundant and recognized all over the world?
So we have two ways. We are focusing on small things. Somehow this is starting to become a standard. So wireless energy transmission, you even now have in your cell phones, you have some small plates in Samsung devices, for instance, but this has to have contact. So this is very small amount of power, small distances, and this is inductive transmission. So then again, this has to be plugged in the plug in the wall, and the distribution system that is based on monopolies. So we are focusing on small things in the room and small things that can be driven or flown. This is one focus, and the second focus, obviously, the first focus is commercial, and is some things that can be commercialized even in this system. But from what I've experienced and understood, Tesla's ultimate goal of free energy and Earth resonance, as much as it is a solution, it is also dangerous. It can be used as weapon. It can be highly weaponized. and we're talking about huge amounts of energy that can be, you know, discharged on top of cities. So nuclear weapons are small towards this. I am not sure, and this makes me sad that humans are ready for this still. Maybe we need to go through a kind of a collective process of purification as a whole, that this becomes reality. I have worked on to improve efficiency of what Tesla wanted to do. There are other 2 or 3 groups in the world that are also working on this. Some of them are more close, that they don't show what they're doing. We want to show to the population the important principles, because this accelerates the whole process. So we are in the transition time from one thing to another. Maybe this transition process will be a kind of a shock. Maybe it will be more evolutionary, let's say, peaceful process. I personally think that human beings only change if they, you know, get a little bit of a tap on their head. And these are the 2 ways of dealing with the technology.
Great, thank you. I have one more question. I read an interview with Nikola Tesla on Facebook. At some stage, somebody posted it in the past few months, and it was about general consciousness and living energy and stuff like that. Is there a lot of interview material such as that?
There is an article that is actually a theatrical play that was made in Yugoslavia, that they say that it's an actual interview with Tesla. This is not a real interview, so it was a theatrical play. I think there are other interviews. I don't know what you are really referring to, but in terms of consciousness, Tesla had a very important article. It's called one is the problem of increasing human energy. So this is very important to read about his perceptions of matter and evolution of mankind, and mankind's let's say lust for material, and the whole of his ideas on ether, and his connection to the metaphysical Vedanta teacher Swami Vivekananda, I think, is also important to read. He gave very little on electrotherapeutical devices, but he had some articles you can find on our website of the Nikola Tesla Institute, tesla.org.br. Some things in English that relate to electrotherapy. I always thought that it's very important to show the principles freely to the population in terms of seeding this, because it is so becoming a mystical thing that it was really hidden by the shadows of mankind, but also from the other side, that from the conscious humans movement, there is a lot of mystical things that are being thrown into the public to sell information, and this in turn gives conflicts with the academic community. And during also Tesla's lifetime, it was the same. I think that now maybe even it's too late to act upon this, but we can do whatever we can do to reach as much people and even younger people that can jointly together, bottom up, show some practical solutions of evolutionary technology based on Tesla's ideas. Tesla worked 100 years ago. We now have satellites. We have measurement devices that are amazing. We have computers. So our perception has evolved, but it was really evolved in a way that the hierarchy that deals with the ownership of the planet directed. So it is a sad really moment for humanity that we are living in. Uh, um, uh, runaway climate change, and that this 60 years ago could have been acted upon. Yeah.
Thank you.
Got two questions. The first being, aside from the typical problems with lobbyists for dirty energy, whether it's oil or the monopoly that exists with electricity and such, what is your biggest obstacle right now in propagating this type of energy? That's my first question. And secondly was, how big have you been able to scale this model? So you showed us the one there with 0.5 meter range with the light bulb. How large have you been able to get to have something that is stable?
Okay, I will answer first the second question. So we have this smaller device, 0.5 meter. We want to recharge cell phones via a receiver that we can provide 5 volts up to the amount of power that is needed to recharge cell phones. We have another model that is not here that emits 2 meters. However, this makes discharges in the air. I'm working on another one that does the same thing without the energy loss in the discharges. The model with the discharges we are using in another therapeutical device that works with the human energy field. And here we will be using the larger 5 kilowatt coil with other resonating coils in this space that we have here that is 15 meters of distance. So I think in a month we will be able to fly here various drones using electrical motors and propulsion with rotors without using batteries in a line that is resonating in tens of meters. A resonating transmission system, in a single wire transmission system, and efficient up to 25 kilowatt I have seen in Russia with our partner that extends a cold electricity line up to 16 kilometers. An interesting thing is that they are using one wire that is only 80 micrometers in its diameter. So in resonant transmission circuits, we can observe transmission of power via air or via one line that is retransmitted with other resonant devices, and where there are no common laws in conductors, such as in alternating current or direct current as loss as at a distance, and there is no heating. So this small amount of wire that is used to transmit potential at large distances at a higher efficiency, we want to use as we are not financially able to construct Tesla towers, but in an avenue we can put a resonant transmitting one-wire line that can irradiate up to let's say 10 meters energy, where we can have like flux tubes where we can push through smaller drones, and this is something that I project that we can done. In terms of electrical vehicles, this is already being done by larger corporations. So we are not really focusing on inductive wireless transmission charges. We want to provide online wireless energy for smaller flying vehicles. We found this commercially viable, and that this can make our development of resonance systems and that we can show the underlying principles of efficiency, not using batteries.
How much would it
And
cost?
the first question I did not answer because it is a complicated one. So the most significant problem that I'm facing is human evolution. So I've said that I even think and I feel that humans are not ready for this, even now 100 years later. And I have had some communications from some mediums and some powerful psychic persons that even we are revealing too much and that this can be abused. Even Tesla destroyed various equipment that he had in laboratory by his own, and this let's say inertia of the morphic field and this let's say evolutionary state of conflict, that global conflict that we are in, is really the most barrier, the largest barrier that I'm experiencing in terms of my movement. We have really moved thousands of people around this idea, and there is a lot of interest. If we want to start like a campaign to finance something, we can do this, but I'm still reluctant because I still think that this is not the time. Maybe in a couple of years.
Thank you, Boris.
Very, very interesting. Thank you.
Okay, my camera has died again. I think my cell phone discharged. So next time I will have my wireless energy pole ready, and we will not have this problem.
Sounds good.
In a month. So the most important thing is that we understood the principles of the global system, Tesla's global system. We have talked in the past 2 lectures on the physics of the human biofield, and the whole idea of the Earth electrical system, Earth resonance, this is very important for our lecture of tomorrow, which is our understanding of the Earth's biofield. So this is, let's say, the culmination of my work. When we talk about healing devices and even of electroacupuncture, whatever we talk about bioresonance in terms of frequencies and impulses, in the human body, the same principles apply in the whole system of the Earth's body, which is a living being entity capable of having its own consciousness. And we will talk tomorrow more about planetary consciousness and the whole idea of the Earth's field. So I will show again here my screen. I want to share with you a little fun experiment that we did in the laboratory in Brasilia. We talked that in our GDV Tesla device we have a high frequency generator, which is basically a Tesla coil with adjustable frequency, and we introduced these discharges in the body. So we talked about the conflict that Nikola Tesla had with Edison. Edison, it has been shown in historical movies, has electrocuted animals, even an elephant in public, to show that Tesla's system is very dangerous. So here, I don't know if this will work out, that we show a video. I will receive a discharge of 2 million volts and power of 5 kilowatts through a metal part of the neon light in my body. So please observe my shoes. Were you able to see the film? Yeah. Were you able to see the film?
Yes, we saw it.
Yeah, amazing.
Okay, so these are high frequency discharges. It was to end our lecture. When somebody asks, "But is this safe?" I usually show this recording of me getting electrocuted on high frequency. The current flows on the skin. It is observable as skin effect. It does not really penetrate the tissue, therefore it does not electrocute anybody. And this will be shown in the future as very important in working with the human biofield. Tesla, I will repeat what I already said, in the proximity of high frequency generator devices, observed changes in his consciousness. I have talked in the past about the relation to the morphic field, and tomorrow we talk more about how do we connect to the global antenna, our human biofield. Thank you so much, and if there are no more questions, I will continue with my work here in the lab.
Boris, one last thing. Sorry to cut you off, but what was the frequency on the
in the I didn't hear this.
What was the frequency for the extremely high frequency coil there that you said it was like what was the frequency measured?
So Tesla's tower was supposed to work from 10 kilohertz to 100 kilohertz. This is very low frequency. So Some of our devices here, like the smaller devices, operate on hundreds of kilohertz. The Tesla coil, which you can see behind me, the larger one, works on 136 kilohertz. It is very strange, for instance, that this spectrum of very low frequencies, for instance, in the United States, is for the exclusive use for the US military. They use this frequency because it penetrates everything. It is like magic. It goes through the ground, through the ocean, to communicate with nuclear submarines. The transmission signals for the launch of nuclear missiles is done on this frequency, so you cannot, even if you want to recreate a system of towers transmitting on this frequency, because you will go to jail. I know a person in the States who had a 10 kilowatt transmission device on the coastal line, and some days later, there comes U.S. Navy and U.S. military, and she got some years in prison because she was doing something that was not legal using a military frequency. This is the Tesla frequency.
Terrible.
Very interesting.
So there is a history of suppression of the ideas, but not only the ideas, also the actions on getting to what we call free energy. I did not go really deep into that issue, but this is a fact.